All right, we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Sacred Inclusion Network Sacred Conversations. So every Tuesday at 1:15 p.m. and 11:15 a.m. Pacific and 1:15 p.m. Eastern, board members from the Sacred Inclusion Network will open up our homes and have a sacred conversation like we're having today. And today's topic is the spiritual meaning of COVID-19. And boy, do we have some opportunities here. But let me introduce the people present for the sacred conversation. So we have Mr. Angelo Lewis, who is the co-founder of the Sacred Inclusion Network, and he's also a life coach. And we have Ms. Nyambi Eccles, who is a spiritual activist and transformation advocate. She's also the author of the book, What Color is Your Soul? And she's going to be the featured facilitator for April's monthly online exploration, which we encourage you all to participate in. And we will be posting information on how to participate on the page for the Sacred Inclusion Network on Facebook. So let's kick this conversation off and talk about the spiritual meaning of COVID-19. Nyambi, what are your thoughts?
Well, thank you for that. And I think that right now it's too soon to judge. I think that from a spiritual perspective, we have all collectively prayed for change, prayed for transformation, prayed for something different to happen in this paradigm. And just like any prayers that I've ever prayed, they never, ever answered exactly the way that I think that they, the way that I prescribe them to be. And so I think this is one of them. I think that there's a lot of things that's gifts that will come from this, but it's too soon to judge. I think that on a global plane, that so much is happening right now, and that this is the time for us to really lean into our spirituality and to really understand who we are. You know, it's like now we're on this in this space. We're kind of in two thoughts. We're in this radical ritual. For one, it's truly radical, and if you know anything about radical rituals, they change and tear up stuff, and in order to really transform it, I love the analogy of the butterfly, because the caterpillar, in order for it to become a butterfly, it can moan and complain about being a caterpillar, and I really want to life to change. And then in order for it to change, that caterpillar has to go into a chrysalis alone by itself, kind of like we in seclusion right now. And it has to surrender, and just surrender to the point of liquefaction. That's how deep it goes. And everything that it needs in order to become a butterfly is already in that chrysalis. So I think we are in the midst of an opportunity to crystallize our country, our world. And we are in the middle of this chrysalis, and we are just beginning our liquefaction process of tearing down the old. And it ain't comfortable. I can only imagine what liquefaction to the point of, surrender to the point of liquefaction looks like. But I think that that's what we're in the middle of. And if we use the analogy of the caterpillar, I'm sure in that chrysalis at times, it's like, this ain't worth it. I don't need to fly. I ain't never wanted to fly. It's probably saying, I ain't never really wanted to fly. Forgetting all of the prayers.
The shocking thing about that analogy is its self-liquidation.
Yes.
And everything that it needs in order to transform is within the self.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. That is literally the shaman's death.
Absolutely. So I think that is what's happening right now. And if we just surrender to the process of it all, and just really just surrender, because we can't right now, everybody, state by state, they're getting ready to say, shelter in place. And so if you cannot go without, maybe it's time to go within.
Oh, oh, that is a tweetable.
Maybe it's time for us within. So let's see what this is really about. And I think if we move out of the fear, that's why, you know, I'm excited about my talk on April, because it's about interrupting the fear. And I think that that's what we really need to really shift our perspective, and out of that fear and lean into who we really are.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You know, I love the late Wayne Dyer's title for his book, There's a Spiritual Answer for Every Problem. And what we're living through right now is a mass wake up to one of the main purposes of human life, and that is to confront opposites because we're living on the plane of relativity. I understand the light because I have lived the dark, right? So we're in planet Earth is the opposite school. So we experience hard times in order to really, really viscerally, on the level of your bones, appreciate the light and the good and the love, because we know what the opposite feels like and we live that too. So we're on Earth school. This is hardcore Green Beret special ops soul mission. And not for the faint of heart. And so everybody is experiencing the opportunity to say, ooh, this hurts. Ooh, I'm afraid. Ooh, I'm uncertain. Oh, what's going to happen now? Nothing's the same. And to look at that and say, oh, yeah, I'm experiencing the opposite so that I am clear about what I choose to create.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think if you were admitted to the Earth School and you got, you know, your admissions were accepted, then you can handle it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Even if it doesn't look like it, it's purposeful, because that is a call to action for other people to support the people that look like they're not handling it, right? That's all part of the experience.
Absolutely.
You know, today when I got onto Facebook, which I do sometimes, I saw this wonderful post by a guy he's like kind of a regular in our sacred inclusion conversations from Italy. And, you know, everybody knows in Italy, they're going through it even heavier than we are going in the United States. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just read the beginning of it. He goes, I believe the universe has its way of balancing things and its laws when they're turned upside down. The moment we are experiencing, full of anomalies and paradoxes, makes you think. In a period when the climate change caused by environmental disasters has reached worrying levels, China is the first place in many countries to follow or forced to stop. The economy collapsed, but pollution drops considerably. The air improves, we use the mask, but we breathe. In a moment where certain discriminatory ideologies and policies with strong references to a petty past are reactivated all over the world, a virus arrives and makes us experience, and suddenly we can become the discriminated, the segregated, those stuck at the border, those who carry disease, even if we are not to blame. He goes on, but I just love a lot of the truth I thought he was sharing. I mean, I think this is a pattern interrupt for humanity right now.
Absolutely.
And as you stated humbly, Niambi, we don't know really what it means. You know, let's just put it out there. But we can sense that there's a big change happening right now. And the question is, how are we going to participate? What are we going to do with it as individuals and as members of the collective?
And as the old folks would say, if you know, when the storms are happening, my grandmother and my mother are both from Alabama, and old folks would say, you know, when it's storming outside, when it's lightning, you go sit down, just go sit down. And I think that that's what we are being asked to do, is to just be still right now. And and just be with those that we love. I mean, you know, in the sense of loving yourself, be with, you know, so much of our this society keeps us external, keeps us just outward, 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 outward. There's all this outward stimulation that's constantly happening. And people are really, I think, afraid because they don't know what to do with themselves. And to say, I mean, I have never in my life, and no exaggeration, ever experienced boredom. I mean, boredom, are you kidding? There's so much to do.
There's a big,
you know,
yes.
there's so many things to do. So it's creating that opportunity for us. Again, I think this is part of a collective prayer. We have all prayed for something new and exciting, and help us, help us, help us, because this is falling apart. And now it's happening. So all we have to do is just go, and when you feel helpless, when you don't know the plan, it's best to get out of the way and just watch what this is going to be. And I think when it's all said and done, we're going to be just like that caterpillar out of the chrysalis. We're going to be surprised at our resolve, at how we can go into this, you know, crazy, but it's how we will emerge is what I think the real test for us will be. How will we be different? Not so much happening in the world, because the world is taking, the earth is taking care of herself. She's replenishing. She's like, thank you for this time for them to go sit down. Because
you all have a timeout. You're all in timeout.
So it's all a timeout, right?
So we're in a spiritual timeout. She is replenishing. She is getting rid of the pollution. She's like, oh, thank you, you know? And so it's how we will emerge. Will we emerge differently, or will we stay the same and create the same chaos and then wind up with another COVID? Because it's like, oh Lord, we need something different to happen. We need something, and then here we go again. So it's a sacred opportunity, I think, if we will take it.
Oh my gosh. You reminded me of my favorite quote from Robin Sharma, the guy that wrote the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. He says, which is a great title, right? Robin Sharma. He says, and I love this quote so much, all change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and beautiful in the end. And that is so true.
That is so true.
And I think that's a beautiful place for us to put a 2-3 periods afterwards, because we would love to hear from your thoughts in the chat as to what you think this means, and maybe what you're doing to cope and to reach out to others. And again, on April 14th, Niambi is going to be our guest. 18th, thank you, which is Saturday.
Yes.
It's always the third Saturday of every month. Niambi is our guest, and the topic is, what is it, Niambi? You gotta help me out here.
Interrupting fear. Reframing our stories.
Yes.
I'm excited because I am excited. And so I hope to inspire and to give some hope and interrupt some of this fear. We got too much fear. We need to interrupt it right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you want to, you want a reminder in the chat, put your email address, or you can just write info@divespirit.com, which I'll leave in the notes. And I hope all of you out there are safe. You're taking care of your loved ones. You're reaching out to people that maybe are a little bit more isolated than you. Just take care of yourself.
And so please leave a comment. Let us know what you believe is the spiritual meaning of the virus. We want to continue the conversation below in the comments.
All right. Peace out. See y'all.
Thanks both.
Bye-bye.